Jasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamunatira Banachari Jamunatira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishupad Paramam Sabhadivajakacharya Ashotara Sata Sri Srimati Mangres Esi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishupad Paramam Sabhadivajakacharya Ashotara Sata Sri Srimati Mangres Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय, मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय। श्री श्री गौनिताई की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ सुभद्रा बलदेव की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदी। All glory is to the Samadhivatis. All glory is to the Samadhivatis. All glory is to the Samadhivatis. All glory is to Sri Guru Sri Gauranga. All glory is to Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasabhutare Semate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauramani Pacharine Nirvesesha Sunnavadi Paschata Vidatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, today is a very auspicious day, Vijayadashami, and the advent of Sri Madhvacharya as the Acharya in our line. So we shall speak also today's verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and then later on read about the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra and Madhvacharya. From Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Skanda, 20th chapter, Sloka number 14. Sriyaha Prajapalanam Eva Ragyaha Yat Samparaye Sukritat Shashtamamsam Harta Anyata Ritapunyaha Prajanam Arakshita Karaharaha Agam Ati Sreya Prajapalaname Varagyo Yat Samparaye Sukrita Shashtamamsam Arthanyatha Hrita Punya Prajanam Arakshita Kadaharo Ghamati Sreya Prajapalaname Varagyo Yat Samparaye Sukrita Shashtamamsam Hartanyatha Hrita Punya Prajanam Arakshita Karaharo Ghamati. Sri Sri Gaurnitai ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki jai. Sreya Prajapalaname Varagyo Yat Samparaye Sukrita Shashtamansam Hartanyatha Hrita Punya Prajanam Arakshita Karaharo Kamati. Vaishnavis, Sreyaha, auspicious, Praja Palanam, ruling over the general mass of people. Eva, certainly, Ragyaha, for the king, yet, because, Samparaye, in the next birth, Sukritat, from the pious activities, Shashtamansam, 1/6 part, Harta, collector, Anyata, otherwise, Ritapunyaha, being bereft of the results of pious activities, Prajanam, of the citizens, Arakshita, one who does not protect, Kalaharaha, tax collector, Agam, sin, Ati, receives or suffers. Translation: to give protection to the general mass of people who are citizens of the state is a prescribed occupational duty for a king. By acting in that way, the king in his next life shares 1/6 of the result of the pious activities of the citizens. But a king or executive head of state who simply collects taxes from the citizens but does not give them proper protection as human beings has the results of his own pious activities taken away by the citizens, and in exchange for his not giving protection, he becomes liable to punishment for the impious activities of his subjects. Please repeat. To give protection to the general mass of people who are citizens of the state is a prescribed occupational duty for a king. By acting in that way, the king in his next life shares 1/6 of the result of the pious activities of the citizens, but a king or executive head of state who simply collects taxes from the citizens but does not give them proper protection as human beings has the results of his own pious activities taken away by the citizens, and in exchange for his not giving protection, he becomes liable to punishment for the impious activities of his subjects. Purport by Zimangre Sesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The question may be raised here that if everyone engaged in spiritual activities to attain salvation and became indifferent to the activities of the material world, then how could things as they are go on? And if things are to go on as they ought to, how can a head of state be indifferent to such activities? In answer to this question, the word Sreyaha, auspicious, is used here. The division of activities in society, as arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was not blindly or accidentally created, as foolish people say. The Brahmana must do his duty properly, and the Kshatriya, the Vaishya, and even the Shudra must do the same. And every one of them can achieve the highest perfection of life, liberation from this material bondage. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, 45th sloka. Sve sve kalmadya bhirataha sansiddhim labate naraha. By executing one's prescribed duties, one can attain the highest perfection. Lord Vishnu advised Maharaj Prithu that a king is not enjoined to give up his kingdom and the responsibility of protecting the prajas, or citizens, to instead go away to the Himalayas for liberation. He can attain liberation while executing his royal duties. The royal duty or the duty of the head of state is to see that the prajas or the general mass of people are doing their respective duties for spiritual salvation. A secular state does not necessitate a king or head of state who is indifferent to the activities of the prajas. In a modern state, the government has many rules and regulations for conducting the duties of the prajas, but the government neglects to see that the citizens advance in spiritual knowledge. If the government is careless in this matter, the citizens will act whimsically without any sense of God, realization, or spiritual life, and thus become entangled in sinful activities. An executive head should not be callous to the welfare of the general mass of people, while he simply goes on collecting taxes. The king's real duty is to see that the citizens gradually become fully Krishna conscious. Krishna conscious means completely free from all kinds of sinful activities. As soon as there is complete eradication of sinful activities in the state, then there will be no more war, pestilence, famine, or natural disturbances. This was actually prevailing during the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira. If a king or head of the government is able to induce the citizens to become Krishna conscious, then he is worthy to rule over the mass of people. Otherwise, he has no right to levy taxes. If the king looks after the spiritual interests of the citizens, he can levy taxes without difficulties. In this way, both the subjects and the king will be happy during this life. And in the next life, the king will be able to share 1/6 of the past activities of the citizens. Otherwise, by levying taxes on the sinful citizens, he will have to share the reactions of their sinful activities. This same principle can be applied to parents and spiritual masters as well. If parents simply give birth to children like cats and dogs, but cannot save their children from imminent death, they become responsible for the activities of their animalistic children. Lately, such children are turning into hippies. Similarly, if a spiritual master cannot direct his disciples to become free of sinful activities, he becomes responsible for their sinful acts. These subtle laws of nature are unknown to the present leaders of society, since the leaders of society have a poor fund of knowledge and the citizens in general are rogues and thieves. There cannot be an auspicious situation for human society. At the present moment, the whole world is full of such an incompatible combination of state and citizens, and therefore there is constant tension, war, and anxiety as an inevitable result of such social conditions. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavansya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakam Vitansya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sri Ram Jai Ram Sri Ram Jai Ram Sri Ram Jai Ram Sri Ramchandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. So it is very auspicious today. We have the celebration of the killing of Ravana by Lord Ramchandra. And at the same time here, we have the instruction of Lord Vishnu to King Prithu about what is the duty of the king. So Lord Ramchandra Bhagavan is the ideal king. He also the ideal son, ideal husband, ideal in all respects. And here the Lord Vishnu is giving instruction to King Prithu how to also become ideal king. So what is the duty of the king? The king's duty is to protect the citizens. And it is seen throughout the life of Lord Ramchandra, his leelas, is to protect the citizens, not only of Ayodhya, but of the entire Bharatvarsha. Wherever he traveled, Lord Ramchandra also protected the citizens in many different ways, especially by killing some of the demons that were disturbing the great brahmanas and sages. So Lord Ramchandra came to Sri Lanka to fight against Ravana, and today he fought and killed Ravana. Actually, it should not be understood that this is a cruelty on the part of the king to kill demons in that manner. As far as Lord Ramchandra is concerned, and Lord Krishna, they kill many demons. But they are so merciful that by killing such demons, they are completely purifying these demons from all their sinful activities. And again, they become eligible to become righteous. So, from this commentary by Srila Prabhupada on this fourth skanda, we understand that the protection of the citizens is not merely a question of raising the economic level of the general population. That is the lower duty. Just like in this, according to the Chandogya Upanishad, there are 5 levels of consciousness, starting by Anandamaya. Annamaya, then Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. These are the 5 levels of gradual elevation of consciousness. But the lowest level is this Annamaya. So mostly nowadays, the kings or heads of state in the democracy are just trying to fulfill these 2 lower propensities or desires for the human beings. That is the desire to become sufficiently fed, Annamaya, having sufficient food for maintaining the body. And the second is Pranamaya, to protect the life of the citizens. These are the 2 aspects that the leaders nowadays are mostly concerned about, and they are trying to do their duty in that manner. But that is not the end. Higher than that is the philosophical aspect of life, Manomaya, and Vijnanamaya. Vijnanamaya means to understand that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, completely aloof from this body. We have been put in this bodily condition, but our nature is transcendental to this body. That is called Vijnanamaya, the realization of the spiritual aspect of life, and then culminating in Anandamaya by contact and establishing the relationship and service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. So these are the 5 levels of consciousness. Nowadays, only the 2 lower levels are understood by the leaders and by the general public at large. They neglect the other aspects. Even philosophy is also not studied nowadays. When Prabhupada was here in 1976 for the inauguration of this temple, he asked one professor from Osmania University that, do you have a philosophy department in your university? Yes, Swamiji, yes, we have a philosophy department, is there. Then Prabhupada asked, so how many students are there in the philosophy department? Maybe 4 or 5. That is the condition nowadays. Manomaya is not of interest for anybody nowadays. I want to speak of the higher aspect of self-realization and love of Godhead, Anandamaya. That is not understood at all. Even those who are religious personalities, they also do not understand. They are only concerned with, please give us our daily bread. That is also Annamaya. They request God, please give us sufficient food for today. So, as Prabhupada is explaining in the purport to this sloka, that if the king is neglecting the real duty of protecting the citizens, what is the meaning of protection? Protection means the king should see that all the citizens are engaged in their duties according to Varna and Ashrama. He should tour the state, not for electoral campaign, not for proposing some special benefit that they cannot fulfill afterwards, so that they can gather the votes from the people. But the head of state, they should see everyone should be engaged according to his Varna and Ashrama, the particular duties. And if they do not perform their duties accordingly, he should correct them, he should teach them, should make arrangements so that they should be educated properly. So that is the meaning of education and protection. And by fulfilling their duties, naturally, the citizens will come to the higher stage of God realization. As Srila Prabhupada quotes from the Bhagavad Gita, Swe Swe Karmani Abhirataha Samsiddhim Labate Naraha. By executing one's prescribed duties, one can attain the highest perfection. That duty should be performed for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, without any attachment whatsoever. Anasatasya vishayan yatharan upayunshata. Nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchate. Sri Rupa Goswami also has given that what is the meaning of yukta vairagya? The impersonalists, they propagate the idea of karma nyasa, complete vairagya, that is detachment from the material world. They do not see that the material world is created by Lord Krishna and that everything belongs to Krishna and everything should be engaged in Lord Krishna's service. They don't have that idea. They think that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, only Brahma, the impersonal Brahman, is truth. And the world Jagan Mithya. Jagan Mithya means the world is false. Of course, even though they think or they say that the world is false, they're also very expert in enjoying the world. That is the hidden activity. So the king should not be like that, like a Mayavadi, and propagate that the world is false. Let me retire and go to Himalayas, as mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in the purport, to give up everything. The duty should be performed. Kshatriya should perform his duty properly. Similarly, the Brahmanas and Vaishyas, Shudras also should perform their duties according to Vedic scriptures. In this way, the state can function very properly. All citizens will be happy. They'll be happy to give tax also to the king or to the prime minister or leader of society. They will not grudge because they see that the leader is protecting us, he is doing his duty properly, and everybody is happy in that manner. Whole society is peaceful. There is no competition, there is no strife. So in this way, they give tax, whatever, maybe maximum 25%. That was the system at that time. So that the government can rule the kingdom very perfectly. And if the leader is not Krishna conscious, if the government is not propagating spiritual education to the young generation, and if they are completely indifferent to the spiritual status of the citizens, if they allow the citizens to be asuras, engaged in sinful activities, so that will be such a state will not be peaceful. There will not be peace anywhere. And there will be heavy reaction for the head of state also, as mentioned here. 1/6 he can share of the pious activities, punya karma of the citizens, if he is a good king. If he is a bad king, does not protect the citizens according to his duty, then he will lose all his pious background, and he will get in return the papa karma of the citizens. That is, as Prabhupada said, the law of nature. Everybody is trying to study. The scientists are trying to study the laws of nature, but they do not know this law of nature, papa karma, punya karma, and how to keep the citizens peaceful, and so on. When Srila Prabhupada was in Chicago in the 1970s, he met with the chief of police of the Chicago city. And it is well known that Chicago has the highest rate of criminality. So Prabhupada told the chief of police that, you see, this Chicago is famous throughout the world. It's a crime capital of the world. And what to do? What the government can do? They cannot stop these crimes. They may catch some criminal, put them in jail. More criminals are coming up, and the crimes are increasing day by day. And you are completely helpless. And chief of police said, yes, we are helpless. What can we do? So Prabhupada said, you help us. You associate with us. We are going to conduct this Harinam Sankirtan in the streets of Chicago, and you will see the results, that gradually your citizens will become very happy, peaceful, and gradually they will become God conscious, Krishna conscious, and they will stop their sinful activities, because our own disciples and followers, they follow strictly the regulative principles, and that will be understood by the people in contact with the Harinam Sankirtan. So that Prabhupada proposed this to the chief of police, and in this way there was some agreement, and so gradually not only in Chicago, everywhere, and more and more the Harinam Sankirtan went on throughout the world, and this is how the population can change and can be purified simply by hearing the name of the Lord. Hearing the name of the Lord, that means coming in contact directly with the Supreme Lord. So that is the system of purification. So the ideal king should know that he should himself be a devotee of Lord Krishna, and he should see that all the citizens should get the opportunity to develop Krishna consciousness. Then there can be peace and happiness in the society at large. So this is for this Bhagavatam sloka. Now coming to this special function of Sri Ramchandra Vijayotsava. We can also read from Srimad Bhagavatam, from the 9th skanda, 10th chapter, sloka number 22-23. Lord Ramchandra is now confronting directly Ravana. So how is confronting? Ramastamaha purushada purisha yannaha kanta samakshamasata paritasvavatte yagta trapasya paramadya jugupsitasya yachami kala iva kartuma rangya viryaha. Lord Ramchandra said to Ravana, "You are the most abominable of the man-eaters. Indeed, you are like their stool. You resemble a dog. For as a dog steals eatables from the kitchen in the absence of the householder, in my absence, you kidnap my wife, Sita Devi. Therefore, as Yamaraj punishes sinful men, I shall also punish you. You are most abominable, sinful, and shameless. Today, therefore, I, whose attempt never fails, shall punish you." Very strong warning, strong dialogue, warning to Ravana. Ravana so far has not met such opposition. So he's going to have a heart attack. Nachadaivat parambalam. No one can surpass the strength of the transcendence. If Lord Krishna or Lord Ramchandra wants to kill somebody, nobody can stop him. And if he wants to protect somebody, Lord Krishna wants to protect somebody, or Lord Ramchandra wants to protect somebody, nobody can kill him. So that should be understood very clearly. Punishment, protection is absolute in the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even after Lord Ravana was, this Asura Ravana was killed, then Vibhishana came, and he came to surrender at the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra. Immediately, Lord Ramchandra offered protection to Vibhishana. Lord Ramchandra told that if anyone, anybody, anytime, anywhere comes to me and surrenders asking for protection, I will protect him without fail. That is the promise given by Lord Ramchandra at that time when Vibhishana came to him, and all the others, including Hanuman. Hanuman told Ramchandra that, "Oh, my dear Lord, he is from the enemy camp. We cannot trust him. He has come like this from the enemy camp. He is only making a show. This is very dangerous. Be very careful. Lord Ramchandra, no, I will protect him. And in this way, Vibhishana became the king of Sri Lanka. Lord Ramchandra did not come to Sri Lanka to conquer Sri Lanka and become the king of Sri Lanka. He established Vibhishana as the king of Sri Lanka. Ravana was so sinful and shameless that he did not know what the result would be of kidnapping Mother Sita, the pleasure potency of Ramchandra. This is the disqualification of the Rakshasas. Asatyama pratishtante jagadahuraniswaram. Jagadahuraniswaram. The Rakshasas are unaware that the Supreme Lord is the ruler of the creation. Aniswaram. They are thinking, there is no Iswara here. Everything is going on automatically, independently. We are the authors. We are the kings. We are the Iswara. There is no other Iswara above us. In this way, the Asuras are conducting their activities, and when they become leaders of society, then the situation becomes very dangerous for everybody. As we have seen, so many Asuras coming to power in the 20th century. And what was their fate at the end? They were finished. But as long as they were alive, so many people died. And so many wars were conducted because of these Asuras. They think that asatyama pratishtante, there is no basis. There is no foundation to this world. And aniswaram, there is no Iswara, there is no God. They think that everything has come out by chance or accident, and that there is no ruler, king or controller. Therefore, the Rakshasas act independently as they like, going even so far as to kidnap the goddess of fortune, as Ravana has done. This policy of Ravana's is extremely dangerous for the materialist. Indeed, it brings ruin to the materialistic civilization. Therefore, we can say that in every household, Ravana is there. In a modern time, Ravana was killed by Lord Ramchandra. It doesn't mean that his succession disappeared. It is there. Everyone is like a mini Ravana, in the sense that everyone considers that I've come here to enjoy. This is my house, this is my property, this is my bank balance, this is my business, everything belongs to me, and my life is only to be successful and to enjoy life to the maximum. That is Ravana consciousness. So in this way, just like Ravana kidnapped Sita Devi. So that is the policy. Sita Devi is the goddess of fortune. She is the representation of the opulence of the Lord. The complete world, the material world including, is the opulence of the Lord. And that is the property of the Lord. In this way we understand that this is Sita Devi. Sita Devi is controlling the material world under the direction of Lord Ramchandra. But we are not happy about that. We consider that we want to take away whatever is available for my enjoyment. I will take as my own property. In this way, more or less, everybody is kidnapping Sita Devi, except for the devotees of the Lord. The devotees are engaging all the world's property, opulence, in the service of the Lord. So they are always worshipping Sita, Rama. Sita should be worshipped along with the Rama. Rama is the enjoyer of Sita. We are not the enjoyer. If we want to kidnap Sita, then we have to meet the same fate as Ravana. We want to see Sita, Ram enjoying together, Radha Krishna, Radha Madan Mohan enjoying together. We'll be happy to see the divine pair in this manner. Nonetheless, because atheists are Rakshasas, they dare to do things that are most abominable, and thus they are punished without fail. Religion consists of the orders of the Supreme Lord, and one who carries out these orders is religious. One who fails to carry out the Lord's orders is irreligious, and he is to be punished. How that punishment is taking place? Next sloka. Evam kshipan dhanushi sandita mutsaracha banam chavardam iva tadridayam vibheda so srigbamanda samukhaye nyapatat vimanat dhaheti jalpati jane sukhiti vriktaha. After thus rebuking Ravana, Lord Ramchandra fixed an arrow to his bow aimed at Ravana and released the arrow, which pierced Ravana's heart like a thunderbolt. Upon seeing this, Ravana's followers raised a tumultuous sound, crying, "Alas, alas, what has happened? What has happened?" As Ravana, vomiting blood from his 10 mouths, fell from his airplane, just as a pious man falls to earth from the heavenly planets when the results of his pious activities are exhausted. Sukriti eva riktaha. Just like that. Ravana fell down from his airplane, just like somebody from the heaven is falling down to the earth planet because punyakshine martyalokam visanti, as mentioned by Lord Krishna. When the results of their pious activities are exhausted, those who have enjoyed in the heavenly planets fall again to earth. The fruitive activities of this material world are such that whether one acts piously or impiously, one must remain within the material world according to different conditions, for neither pious nor impious actions can relieve one from Maya's clutches of repeated birth and death. Somehow or other, Ravana was raised to an exalted position as the king of a great kingdom with all material opulences, but because of his sinful act of kidnapping Mother Sita, all the results of his pious activities were destroyed. If one offends an exalted personality, especially the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one certainly becomes most abominable, bereft of the results of pious activities. One must fall down like Ravana and other demons. It is therefore advised that one transcend both pious and impious activities and remain in a pure state of freedom from all designations. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. When one is fixed in devotional service, he is above the material platform. On the material platform, there are higher and lower positions, but when one is above the material platform, he is always fixed in a spiritual position. Sagunan Samati Chaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Ravana, or those like him, may be very powerful and opulent in this material world, but theirs is not a secure position, because after all, they are bound by the results of their karma. Karmana daivanetrena jantor deho papataye. We should not forget that we are completely dependent on the laws of nature. Prakrite kriyamanani Gunai karmani sarvasah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the tremors of material nature, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by nature. Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, 27th sloka. One should not be proud of one's exalted position and act like Ravana, thinking oneself independent of material nature's laws. So, time is running also, just like for everybody else. Today is also Advent of Sripad Madhvacharya, our earliest Acharya in the line from Brahma, then Madhvacharya, Gaudiya Sampradaya. This is the name of our Sampradaya. So we are completely dependent on the teachings of Lord Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, and as dictated to these great personalities, acharyas in the line. There are 4 lines of Vaishnav Sampradayas: Brahma Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, and Rudra Sampradaya. These are the 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas. We belong to Brahma Sampradaya. And in that line, Madhvacharya appeared. So it is very auspicious today to celebrate and remember the contribution of Madhvacharya in this way. Madhvacharya appeared in the year 1214, if I remember correctly. In Panchakakshetra, those who go to Udupi, they should definitely go to the birthplace of Madhvacharya, which is about 11 kilometers or 13 kilometers on the northern side of Udupi. Panchakakshetra. So the very holy place, the house of Madhvacharya is still there. So that is very exceptional. We can just spend time there and chant our japa and remember Madhvacharya in this manner, in a very calm, very peaceful atmosphere, very wonderful. There is not much visitors, crowd is not there. It is very peaceful, and although it is very, wonderful place. From Madhya Geha, traditional Brahmin family, originally from Kashmir, but they have come down to South India and settled there around Udupi. So, from a very pious family, his elder brother also took sannyas, Vishnu Tirtha, in the same family. And but Madhvacharya was very keen to take sannyas very early. His guru, Achyuta Preksha, he was teaching Madhvacharya all the Siddhanta, Veda Siddhanta, including Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta Sutras, and so on, Mahabharata, all the scriptures. Very soon, Madhvacharya became completely proficient in all the Shastras at a very young age. And in this way, he started his spiritual life very early, going to the temple regularly. Every day he used to walk to Udupi to take darshan of Lord Shiva there. Shiva's temple is there, and Lord Vishnu temple is there. So, what are the major contributions of Madhvacharya? He wrote, first of all, I would like to mention his literary contributions, 37 books of commentary and original compositions that he wrote explaining Vaishnava Siddhanta. For instance, one of the book, Mayavad Khandan, he was very strong in defeating the Mayavadis' arguments, just like we have seen here, that Prabhupada was quoting, that there is no God, there is no foundation to this world, everything is false, therefore, ultimately we have to merge into the impersonal Brahman existence and so on. Lord Madhvacharya established on a very firm footing that the material world is also true. The Lord, the personality of Godhead, is true, Satyam, and therefore Jagat Satyam. Whatever is coming out of the Supreme Lord, His creation is true. It cannot be false. Just like the tree is true, any tree you can consider, the tree is real, it is true. Therefore, the fruits and leaves, twigs, everything coming from the tree, that is also true, that is also real. But in this way, he completely defeated the Mayavad philosophy. Of course, Ramanujacharya had already started his campaign against Sankaracharya's philosophy, but Madhvacharya gave the final defeat, completely smashing the Mayavadi's argument in such a wonderful manner. So he went to Badarikashram, to the abode of Vedavyas, and he presented his commentaries on the Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita, and it was approved by Sri Vedavyas at that time. So then another contribution, of course, Udupi is famous for the temple of Lord Krishna. So how Lord Krishna came to Udupi? Lord Madhvacharya was meditating. He was doing his japa on the bank of the ocean in a place called Malpe. Malpe is also about 11 kilometers on the ocean side near Udupi. And one ship came on the coastline, but the ship was fortunately at that time, the ship became stuck in the sand. And the captain came out of the ship and he saw, is there anybody on the beach who can help me? And he saw one, Madhvacharya was there. So I thought, oh, he looks like a very saintly person. So he approached Madhvacharya that with great respect, that you are a very saintly person, kindly help me to, this boat is stuck in the sand. Please help me to try to free the ship. So the captain understood that something heavy is there in the ship, and he took that piece. It was a very big piece of chandan, and he took on the beach and offered it to Madhvacharya. So the ship was relieved and went on his voyage. In this way, Madhvacharya then opened, he broke the piece of chandan, and he saw, oh, Krishna Balaram appeared to Madhvacharya from that piece of chandan. The ship was coming from Dwarka, and Madhvacharya understood that Krishna Balaram were worshipped at the time of Lord Krishna by the inhabitants of Dwarka, like Rukmini and others. So this is a very extraordinary appearance of Lord Krishna and Balaram to Madhvacharya at that time. there was a Subramanya temple is there on the beach, and Madhvacha gave Balaram to this temple, now still worshipped. Those who go to Malpe, they can take darshan of Lord Balaram there and worship Balaram. And Madhvacha took the Lord Krishna and took him to Udupi, and he installed the deity of Krishna in Udupi in that manner. So later on, the temple was constructed and the deity worship started and so on. But the first installation was made by Madhvacharya at that time. So in this way, Madhvacharya traveled constantly as a sannyasi, going to different places and defeated many pandits. Many of these pandits, just like Trivikram Pandit, belonging to the Sankaracharya Sampradaya, he defeated them and they joined the camp. They became Vaishnavas. So that is the contribution of Madhvacharya. He was in this way going everywhere throughout. And at one time, he entered into a kingdom and he saw that something is happening there. And the king himself asked Madhvacharya, can you help us? We are digging for the river. Please help us to dig so that the river can flow nicely. So the king is addressing in this way Madhvacharya. It is not proper on the part of a king to call for the help of an acharya or even a brahmana to help in digging. That is not proper. So Madhvacharya didn't say anything, but he told the king, can you do one thing? You just show us how to dig the land. Then we'll understand, we'll do it afterwards. But first of all, you will show us how to dig the land. Then the king agreed. He said, okay, I'll show you. So he took the instrument, started to dig like this. So he was busy in the digging like to show to Madhvacharya what to do. So Madhvacharya understood immediately, and he took advantage, and he just left the place. And the king was left alone like this, along with his friends. So that is one humorous pastime of Madhvacharya. When he came along with his associates to Himalayas at a distance of about 20 kilometers from Badarikashram, Madhvacharya told his companions that now I'm going to meet Vedavyas. You can stay here and I will come back and together we'll go back to Udupi. All right. So what did he do? He didn't go by walk. Oh, he took the air and immediately he reached Badarikashram just by flying in the air. Oh, then one may wonder, how is it possible for somebody to fly like this? But we should remember, Hanuman did the same. So we understand from this that it is a fact that Madhvacharya is the incarnation, appearance, first of all, Vayudeva, then Hanuman, then Bhima, and then Madhvacharya. He is the number fourth incarnation in this manner. So he had all the strengths of Hanuman. He could fly in this manner. I remember one very very wonderful occasion that we had when we were traveling. Achyutananda Swami was the leader of our group traveling. and we arranged the program with the Madhva Sampradaya in Bangalore. All the brahmanas, sannyasis, and all the pandits, they became interested. They wanted to know, what is this Hare Krishna? What is their philosophy? What are they doing? And so on. So they became curious and interested. And all of them from Bangalore and other places, they came to that meeting. And we had a very wonderful meeting at that time in Bangalore. And Achyutananda Swami started his lecture presenting our Vaishnava philosophy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and so on. Then coming to Madhvacharya, describing the contribution of Madhvacharya. So he started to describe the opposite philosophy, the Mayavad philosophy, that is directly against God consciousness, that they are sinful. Asuras are propagating this philosophy very strongly. And then Achyutananda Swami said, therefore, Hanuman came as Madhvacharya to completely smash this Mayavad philosophy. When all the Pandits and Brahmanas heard this statement, they were amazed. They were completely struck with wonder. And they spontaneously, they stood up and clapped like anything for 10 minutes for this statement. They could, how is it possible? He's American sannyasi. I mean, what does he know about Madhvacharya? But he could, that glorification of Madhvacharya that they heard from Achyutananda Swami really pleased them so much that they understood, yes, the Hare Krishna people, they are very good. They are ours. They are non-different. They are ours. They are own sampradaya. So I've gone now beyond the time. So if there is any other comments, questions. Hare Krishna. No questions. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Lord Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai, Sri Madhvacharya ki jai.